Most of the product sold as hemp in Missouri is, in fact, marijuana. Mark Zen traveled to a hemp farm to see what legitimate hemp producers think of the growing counterfeit market.
There's plants just all over the place.
On this farm in Marys County, Missouri, Kevin Halderman and Rich Hempy are trying to grow industrial hemp, a plant whose cousin, marijuana, has become more well known.
It's kind of a Wild West right now with all of the cannabinoids that are available in the hemp and the marijuana plant, which are cousins, they're identical cousins.
The marijuana plant has lost all the CBD in it, has lost all these other cannabinoids, because if it didn't get somebody intoxicated on a street level, it didn't sell.
In 2018, the U.S. government removed hemp from the list of federally controlled substances. Because of this, hemp products have more wiggle room and a lot less regulation, something that's becoming a problem in Missouri.
Someone's testing these, right? Someone's regulating these. And it really, nothing could be further from the truth.
Jack Cardetti represents the legal marijuana industry in Missouri. He says his group recently tested dozens of so-called hemp products that are sold at gas stations and smoke shops.
We went out and purchased 55 of those products from across Missouri, and we sent them to a third-party lab to get those tested. And the results we got back were pretty shocking. 96% of those are not indeed hemp. They are marijuana.
We're going after seed production.
Back at the small hemp operation along the Gasconade River, they say they have to test their products with the USDA to ensure it doesn't contain more than the legal limit. And as long as that product tests below the 0.3% THC level, hemp can be sold virtually anywhere.
Every part of it is useful. The root, the stalk, both the inner and the outer part of the stalk, the leaves, the flower, and the seed.
Hempy and Cardetti agree something must be done to protect Missourians and legitimate hemp operations.
They're just using the name hemp to sell marijuana, or they're synthetically converting and producing this.
Reporting in Marys County, I'm Mark Zen.
A 21-year-old man named Nico Cotton is connected to Monday's death of 2-year-old Breon Wells in the Mark Twain neighborhood, has turned himself in to police. The boy's death was ruled a homicide after medical examiners found evidence the child was strangled. Police are now saying the suspect is charged with sexual abuse of that child. The child's family held a balloon release in his honor earlier tonight.
He has never had a bad day. Breon was the light of all of our lives, and he will greatly be missed. And we want to thank you all for your support.
In addition to the sexual abuse charges, the man is also being charged with second-degree murder. The investigation is ongoing. St. Louis emergency housing to hundreds of people still in need of shelter after the May 16th tornado.
Mayor Kara Spencer calls it one of the city's largest emergency housing investments ever. Here is Fox 2's Kelly Hoskins with what all of this will mean for those still struggling nearly 6 months after the storm.
We're right outside of St. Louis City Hall where Mayor Kara Spencer, along with several city leaders, gathered here today to outline new efforts and provide critical resources for those who need to stay warm this winter.
I will move heaven and earth to make sure that we are providing safe shelter for folks in need this winter.
After months of debate and cleanup, city officials say help is finally on the way.
As you all know, providing shelter during winter is a key responsibility of government systems and of the city of St. Louis.
The plan, split into 3 spending bills, taps into $9.3 million for general reserves and $4.4 million around settlement interest to fund new shelter beds, temporary housing, and debris cleanup for families displaced by the May tornado.
We heard from folks who are still living in houses without roofs, with tarps on their roofs, with walls that are missing, who don't have electricity or can't turn on their heat.
Officials say the storm left thousands without homes and compounded the city's ongoing shelter crisis. Now aldermen say they're setting politics aside to get results.
We know that we are probably less than a month away from freezing cold temperatures in our city. We know that providers and folks who do the housing needs are rapidly trying to activate spaces and put those resources together, and they need the funds to do so.
I think this is important because we understand, especially how we're using the reserves for the winter months that are coming, to make sure we have more shelter beds and make sure that we have warming buses. It was the right time to do it.
Mayor Spencer says the city is in talks with several large property owners to create temporary mass shelters, potentially adding 200 or more new beds before temperatures plunge. The spending package now heads to the Board of Aldermen for final approval. Reporting in downtown St. Louis, Kelly Hoskins, Fox.